Hi everyone! Today I just finished filming a tutorial on this whole look right here using all the products that I purchased from the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. So it's my beauty haul put all over my face and a few products that I didn't have for certain things. I used products that I knew you could find at Ulta and I make sure and walk you through that and tell you about it. But for the most part, it is my 21 Days of Beauty purchases that I used all over my face. So if you are interested in seeing how I created all of this and the products I used and picked up, then just keep watching. Starting today with eyes, so I'm gonna start by priming my eyes with my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. I picked up the anti-aging one. I have not used this. I'm cracking into it. Not even gonna lie, I completely forgot it came in a wand. I haven't used this in so long. That actually felt really good. I haven't used that in a long time, like I mentioned, and that feels really nice on my lids. One thing I do recommend, and it personally works better for me, if I'm using an actual eyeshadow primer opposed to my concealer, I like to work one eye at a time. I don't like to put it on both eyes and then blend and then blend. I put it on, blend, put it on and blend because it's made to dry down pretty fast and set, and I can find that it becomes a little patchy or it won't blend out quite as evenly and then you have trouble with your eyeshadow. That's just my experience, but I think that that usually works best is applying, blending, applying, blending. I'm gonna do my eyes today with this Dose of Colors Marvelous Mauves palette. This was one of the online only deals. I was so excited when I saw it. Picked it up for sure. I have brown eyes that like to shift green, and these colors are gorgeous. I have never put this on. There are some fingerprints in there from where I did some swatches, and I will insert a photo for all of you so that you can see how beautifully they swatched. I was very impressed with that, and I want to kind of to figure out an eye look, but they have a few different color options. There's like a sienna one, I want to say a natural one, but this was the only one that was part of the 21 Days of Beauty. So I'm excited to try it. I'm gonna take my Morphe M504 brush, and this, I'm gonna go ahead and take this little guy out of here, this little brush that comes with it, but I'm gonna hold on to it because I'm gonna try something with it. Normally I'm not a fan of brushes that come with palettes, but we're gonna give it a fair go. So I'm gonna take my Morphe brush and just go into this first one right here. This is the shade Fluffy. So fluffy! And I'm gonna just wash that all over my lids. Now, it is a nice creamy shade with a little bit of a rosiness to it, but that doesn't bother me. Like I said, that's a nice color palette for me, and I don't feel like it was excessively pink whenever I swatched it. So that's why I'm moving with this one and not like just a translucent powder. I think that I'll be able to produce something I like with it. Now I'm gonna take my MAC 224 and go into this next shade right here called Rosy. And I'm going to wash it all over my lid and bring it up into my crease. Next, I'm going to go into this middle shade right here called Wishy Washy, and this is my Real Techniques base shadow brush. And I'm going to start packing on this outer corner and then stay low in my crease, but bring it all the way over and in, but still under that second rosy shade that we put all over the lid. Taking my Morphe brush again that we used for that first lightest shade and just buffing out that top edge. These are blending beautifully, by the way. It makes me want to pick up more of these little palettes that they have. I'm actually going to take my finger and go back into this fluffy shade, and I want to put just a little bit down. Oh, that is so pigmented. Down in the bottom of my inner corner. I don't want to pull it all the way over. I just want to brighten that area just a tiny bit. Now I'm going to take the little brush that came with the palette, and I'm going to go into this deepest shade. It's kind of a dual-ended brush. That one's really pointy. I may use it for the bottom, the lower lash line, but I'm going to take that more flatter edge right there and go into the darkest shade, which is Wine Stain. and I'm going to do a soft liner. So I'm going to just try to really blend it across my lash line, but I don't want it to be super thin. I want to just kind of fluff it up. I'm going to start as close to my lashes as I can and then fluff it up just a little bit so that there's a nice gradient there. You can see how that already is defining the eye so nicely. I'm really, really liking that. There is like no fallout even with that deepest wine color. I'm gonna go back with my MAC brush and just kind of fluff this outer edge because I want that to be, like I said, a gradient, kind of an ombre of color. And I want it to be nice and blended. So I will go back and forth a little bit just on that outer edge so it's a soft transition, nothing harsh. I'm gonna take my Stila liquid liner. This was one I already had, but it was a part of the 21 Days of Beauty, so that counts, right? I'm not gonna do any kind of severe wing today. I'm gonna keep this really close to my lash line, but I just want to really intensify my lash line since we don't have any glitters or shimmers in the palettes. It's a very matte eye. I wanna just really darken up my lash line, but give that black there. And I may go back and blend with some shadow to soften it some, but nothing crazy with the liner today, but it will make a nice effect. Now I say that, we've all done liner before. I may end up with a wing out to here. You never know. What is it about liquid liner that makes me feel like I need a leave? You know, does anybody else feel that way? Like you need like a good stretch and a couple of ibuprofen. This is a great liner. It's so thin and sharp. It really gets next to the lash line, and I feel like it's very easy to start super thin and not be overwhelmed that you're making this thick line. So if you pick this one up, this is a really, really good one. Now I am gonna go back into that deepest shade with this same brush that came in the palette, this wine stain shade, and just kind of buff it out a little bit to take a little bit of the intensity away because I want to keep it all very soft, but I love the depth that it added to my lash line. And if this is something that you want to do as far as going back and do your shadow and kind of diluting the line, so to speak, so you're not going for something super intense, make sure you give the liner a little time to fully dry down and you don't go on top of the wet liner. At least a liquid liner, you can kind of fudge it with creams, but a liquid liner, you want it to die down a little bit and not be super wet. I'm going to take one of my Purity wipes that I picked up in the sale also and clean up that outer edge. I don't have a super intense wing, so I don't have too much cleanup, but just to kind of sharpen up this edge right here. This is such a nice trick. Moving on to the face, I am going to take the Becca First Light Priming Filter. I'm also going to take a tiny bit of my Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. This was not a part of the 21 Days of Beauty, but you can pick it up at Ulta. And I'm just going to hit a few points of my face that I feel like I have enlarged pores or texture. They actually have a limited edition one of these out right now that the top is like all bejeweled. It's part of that new mermaid collection and it's beautiful, but I can't justify picking up another one just for that reason. For foundation, I'm gonna use the Buxom Show Some Skin Weightless Foundation. This was one of the online deals for the 21 Days of Beauty. I had never tried it previous to this. Now I have used it a few times. I tried to stay out of all of this, but I couldn't help myself. And I actually really love this because it says light to medium coverage. And I found that I can get a really beautiful medium coverage out of this, and it looks so nice on my skin and it feels so nice on my skin, and it does have SPF 30 in it. I picked up the shade Silky Negli-Beige. Negli-Beige. It's a cute name. And I actually prefer to apply this with a brush. So I'm going to be using my Morphe Y6 brush. I do have my sponges on hand to kind of do a little extra blending if I need to, but I really have been enjoying this. I've used this quite a bit. It is definitely buildable and not for full coverage. If you are looking for full glam, cover up, everything, give you a different face. This is not it. This is definitely light to medium coverage, but I thought that it would be less, I don't know what I was expecting. So this is not for your full glam girls, but this just gives the most beautiful everyday skin. But I do prefer the brush. I think the brush probably gives a little more coverage. It doesn't soak up quite as much as the sponge. I've been very impressed with this. If you're looking for just kind of that everyday foundation, this one is impressing me. I'm really enjoying this and I will keep using it. Concealer, I'm going to be using my Estee Lauder Double Wear. This was an online deal. I picked up the next shade. I had 2C Light Medium Cool. I picked up 3C Medium Cool, and I'm actually going to mix the two together. And yes, that's extra, and no, that's not necessary. This concealer has actually, for me, taken first place and surpassed my Shape Tape. It is so moisturizing under my eyes and anywhere on the face for that matter, and it blends out so well, but it doesn't crease. It is not cakey. I have zero problems with this, and it is so full coverage, but it looks so nicely on my skin, and it doesn't look thick or heavy or bunchy. I'm loving this so much, and it has taken first place in the concealer battle. To set under my eyes, I'm gonna take this Ofra banana powder. This was also one of the deals. I picked up 2 of these and I took one to the studio. So I have not tried this on myself, but we have been using this non-stop. We've had so many clients lately with pageants, proms, etc. We've already hit pan on this. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we've already really dug into one pretty good. But I'm just gonna pick some up on my sponge and press it under my eyes. So I know that I've enjoyed the performance of it on my clients. It's done such a beautiful job brightening and setting. I have a feeling I'll enjoy it on myself, but I haven't used it until now. Yeah, that looks great. There's nothing else I can say about that. That looks really nice. To set the rest of my face, I did not have a powder that was in the 21 Days of Beauty, so I'm going to take the new Becca Hydra Mist powder, the one that's 50% water. You can pick this up at Ulta. I picked it up at my local Ulta, and I'm going to set the rest of my face with it. I'm going to take my kabuki brush, which is what this is, a Real Techniques kabuki brush, and if this is not the cutest brush, I can't even. So I get some on the brush. Let me see if I can show you what I'm doing. I get some on the brush and I put the brush in the lid to kind of tap off the excess because this stuff is wet, but it works. And I'm just gonna push it. I push it into my skin. I don't buff or use circular motions, but y'all are about to see my skin just look freaking poreless. I know that there's been some back and forth about it. Some people like it, some people don't, but it is working so well for me. I mean, it keeps everything in place and it does just make me look like I have baby doll skin. And I'm not mad about that. I'm trying to do this thing where whenever I set my forehead, I'm trying to kind of really keep my eyebrows down because I move my face so much and it makes those creases. I have awful forehead wrinkles, I know. So I try to, I'm not angry, I promise. I'm just trying to let my powder set so that I don't set my wrinkles. I'm gonna do my brows off camera, but I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in medium brown. I picked up several of these. I'm just gonna fill them in with a pencil and set them with a clear brow gel. If you have not seen my video on brows, you can see the 2 different ways that I do them, and I'm using the Brow Wiz method today, so nothing new there, but I am using this guy that I picked up, and this is a brand new one that I actually picked up in the sale because my other one was done. I picked up this little guy right here, which I'm loving. The formula on these is so pigmented and so beautiful from Benefit. And I'm going to use one as my blush, and I'm also going to use the HULA bronzer to contour a little bit, and then I'll go back in with my butter bronzer, Shock, to warm up the rest of my face. But I'm going to take this little guy on with my Real Techniques. I believe this is a contour brush. It is the contour brush. Look at me. Actually using a brush for something it was intended for. Yay! I'm just going to very softly carve out my cheekbones just a tiny bit. Going in with my butter bronzer, and I'm going to really just swirl and buff the rest of my face and bronze me up. This is a MAC 140S brush. That is bomb. And Ulta is selling MAC, so I'm not sure if you can find this there or not, but I'm kind of going to start fanning it in little circular motions where I have that HULA for my contour and kind of buff them all together. Now mind you, nothing is slipping or sliding around. My foundation is staying in place. Everything is locked and loaded, so that foundation just performs so well, and that powder just locks it all in. I mean, it's good. It's good, y'all. I really, really like it. Blush, I'm going to take another one of these little guys from this Benefit set. This was $24, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. It's a value of $57, and these are awesome. I really love these. You get HULA Light and the HULA Original, and then all of these blushes. And like I said, I don't know if the formula is different. I like Benefit blushes and the HULA bronzers regardless, but this formula is so good to me. These have been performing so, so well. And this new blush called Gold Rush came in this set, and love this. Not only does it smell amazing, it's beautiful. It is such a pretty color. Oh, that blush is so pretty. I'm gonna finish up my eyes and work on the lower lash line. I'm gonna go back into this Marvelous Mauves palette. I'm gonna start with my Makeup Geek Define Crease Brush, and I'm gonna go into this shade Rosy and just buff it all across the bottom. I'm gonna take the brush that came with the set, and I'm gonna rub off that wine color that I used, and I'm gonna go into this one right here, and I'm going to place it really close to my lash line. And I'm not going to bring it all the way in, just kind of halfway across the eye and connect it up with this outer corner. And that shade was called Spaced Out. Go back in with my Makeup Geek brush. I haven't added any product to it, and I'm just going to buff that and blend it together. I do not have a highlighter that I picked up throughout the 21 Days of Beauty, but I'm going to use my Maybelline Master Chrome in Rose Gold. This is drugstore. You can pick it up at Ulta, and it is gorgeous. I cannot get enough of this highlighter. And this is a Morphe M510 brush. Look, do you see that? Jeez. I do not have any shimmers on my eyes, but I am going to take my highlighter and my Morphe E36 brush, and I'm going to hit my inner corners and right under my brow bone and my arch and blend that out. Mascara, I'm going to use my Better Than Sex mascara that I picked up during the sale. I have to say I prefer my L'Oreal Lash Paradise, but this one, it is not disappointing. I'm gonna do 2 coats on my top lashes, 1 on the bottom while I'm waiting for that top coat to get a little tacky. I'm gonna do my lips, and I'm going to use my NYX my NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in London and top it off with my Buxom Hot Toddy, what is the full name for this? I always forget. Full On Lip Cream. This was a part of the sale. This was not, but you can pick these up at Ulta, and they're a fabulous price point, fabulous formula, and this one looks so nice on me as far as a natural soft lip color. I will say, if you can, if they have like the little tray that you can pull out and swatch them, because they are not the same color as the tube. I don't think so. I kind of went back and forth there with my lashes and my lips because I wanted to give the soft matte lip cream some time to dry down. Now I'm going to put Hot Toddy right in the middle. And to set it all in place, I'm gonna use my MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus, which was part of the sale. Yay! I got several of them. They just don't do me wrong. All right, that's it. This is where we are with our full face of the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, piling on as many of those products that I purchased throughout that sale as I could. I hope this was helpful and that you enjoyed it. Did you pick up any of these? Did you miss anything that you really wanted? Let me know. I would love to hear about it. I'm really happy with this. These are some great products. I'm through and through really pleased with the products that were available through the sale. I thought this year was a very, very good year, and I really am impressed with this eyeshadow palette and this foundation. Two home runs for me that were completely out of the blue and I was not expecting. Now this weekend is the VIB kind of Beauty Insider sale at Sephora where you get 15% off, and I'm thinking about doing video recommendations on that sale. Would y'all be interested in that? Would you like to kind of hear my top picks or what I'm buying? I'm thinking about putting that up this week to kind of give you the same kind of format like I did for the 21 Days of Beauty, but that's just kind of all-encompassing because it's 15% off everything. So I've got some kind of top picks there and things I'm looking to grab. So if you're interested in seeing that, give me a thumbs up or comment below. That's very, very helpful for me. I thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope all of you have a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next video.